Dumela ngwaneso, ke khutlile. I'm channeling Sesotho. A ke re la tseba ke Mokwena. Nna ke Jwalane ka lebitso. Ke Mokwena wa Rahlao. Kwa Lebeko. Ke maile mangwathela. Maja puluka kaofela. Batho ba reng ha ba ja. Ho tla ho thaya meriti. Ho thaya meriti le menyane e dotlwana. Ke Mokwena, ke Jwalane. Ga le amohela ho Fola Podcast. Fola is about healing from, Ntokozo always says, from root to tip, holistically. In Fola, we pride ourselves as being one platform, which we hope to turn the platform into one shop, where every healing aspect is given that platform it deserves, and equally so. So, Kirin, as much as if I can go into a pharmacy and buy Panado, ke tshwanetse ha ke fihla pharmacy, ke kry kgomo ya sehla, e leng a headache medication that comes from a bark of a tree. And equally, those should have the same shelf space and the same respect.
Yes, definitely.
Whether you believe in African spirituality and healing, whether Hindu, I'm a certified yoga practitioner. So I did my 200 hours. So I experienced in depth the Hindu and Ayurvedic therapy, the healing that comes from Hindu medication. Ke nkgono. Lesedi. I'm my father's aunt. Ke Makazi. I'm the 4th generation of Makazi. Yabakwena. Ke Jwalane. My name carries that strong meaning. It's a name of an aunt, of an aunt, of an aunt. It's supposed to be given to my sister, by the way, my elder sister. But somehow my parents and my grandparents decided that the name is befitting. And hence, I inherited the spiritual gift that comes off with ukumela umsamo wasekhaya wagiti. Wemela taba tsa bakweneng. Ke tle ke re lesedi. Dumela ngwaneso. Today, ka mona ka ga podcast, ke na le mme Shelley Molapo. Shelley Molapo is a quantity surveyor specialized in mining and power sectors. Mme Molapo has worked in Ghana, Tanzania, Namibia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Mme Molapo has worked for big companies, including 5, including Mme Molapo has spent time and continues to work in oil and gas utilities, open cast mines, power and plant construction. Mme Molapo was also a senior quantity surveyor at Tarisa, Northwest Province, where she continues to work as the mine is expanding. I know Mme Molapo as a philanthropist. I know her as a giver. Mme Molapo will hold in her own capacity, career-changing, shaping, shift-changing, and focus-changing specific career workshops, where we'll have young people coming from all over South Africa to learn and to experience and to learn about opportunities for the future. Mme Molapo is a recipient of full bursaries from both public and private sector. In quantity surveying, she completed her quantity surveying at Wits University. She also went on to do executive coaching by International Coach Federation. Mme Molapo, she's initiated. She's a registered and practicing traditional healer. I wish to repeat that. Registered is important.
Yes.
Ha ra tsoga first year sekolong. We went to school, but then we also went to school of traditional healing. So school. People will say, no, they don't want to go to school. They want to be traditional healers. Hello, no. It's a gift. We honor the gift.
Yes.
So re ka omana ke re la tseba ke rakgadi. Memelapo is very well traveled. Memelapo, she's in love with the African continent. I'm waiting for that king to come in. Take her.
Receive that.
Memelapo is a student at the Thabo Mbeki African Leadership Institute at UNISA. She completed her studies there. Memelapo is writing a manuscript of fellow African countries and her experiences in those countries. Memelapo hanka bua ka ena, ene ona no OS. What's LLB? What's a quantity survey? Ki healer, ki LLB, uko Thabo Mbeki scholarship, ki coach, ki philanthropist, ki yonke into. But then she's my sister. She's my prayer warrior. Welcome, Memelapo.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. What a long intro.
Introduction.
I don't think I recognized myself there when you were talking about me. Thank you so much. It's such an honor for me to be here on this platform. I think Fola is such a timely intervention. And I love the approach that is very holistic. So thank you very much for having me. I have been very excited and waiting for this day. It's good to be here. Ke a leboha. Listen.
Lesedi mme, you're welcome. A ke re kope bonkgolo le bontatemoholo. Ge ke re tshepe gore mabitla a kgale, dithaba le dinoka tse tebileng di re boletse tsela.
Lesedi.
E tle be lesedi, e tle be kganya. Qhamako.
So this is my little segment now. I'm glad that now African spirituality is very complex, but it's closed and open at the same time. Meaning that with social media and the media, there's a lot more clout associated with it. That being a traditional healer is now cool, or it's now what you should do. And sometimes people bypass the protocol that is necessary to step into that phase and that journey, because it glamorizes this amazing thing, but people often neglect the difficulty that may come with it. So as a starting point, what exactly is, Uktwasa, for instance, and why is the ancestral call so important for women or towards women?
So the first thing that I would say in your question when you say Uktwasa, which I find it to be quite limiting because it is in the context of the Nguni languages, right? And I don't know, maybe it's because it is in the mainstream, the Ngunis are just Shaga Ilembe, but Uktwasa then Nakile Mosotho, Kimukwena, Jalo Kame Jolani, but Kimukwena Mokotidina. Nna ke tla bua ka bongaka wa bona ke tla bua ka ho fehlellwa, which then I would start unpacking it and saying, what exactly is it? It is a process of answering or taking heed to a calling of your ancestors. Sometimes it's not your inherent ancestors, it's not only your bloodline, but then you have foreign ancestors as well. It is such a vast thing to explain and concept to explain. What is Uktwasa? Uktwasa is a new moon, actually. It is becoming, it's a new dawn. It is you becoming that which you are called to. So yes, it's a process, but it is becoming. It is a state of being and a state of going, right? It is a journey and you never arrive.
Oh, okay.
Ke rata hore it is the process of becoming.
Yeah.
In Sesotho, we say ho fehlellwa. In English, when you fehla something, it's like when you do a margarita, when you mocktail it.
Yes.
You shake,
You
shake, shake,
brew.
shake, shake, shake. That is what ho fehlellwa is. You shake, shake, shake. So you are shaken to the core,
Yes.
physically, mentally, spiritually, your lineage, who you are. You are shaken to the core. And in Sesotho, ho fehlellwa is not glamorous. It's not nice. It's not like, hi, ka fehlellwa. Ke ngaka e ntjha, o laola taola. O laola taola. Santse a batla taola. It's not fancy. It's not like a fancy thing. It's hard. It involves long and long periods of absolute silence. You do not speak to anyone for months on end, but you're kopela. You meditate evening. You meditate early hours of the morning. You eat certain foods. You eat whole foods. Avoid certain foods. Avoid certain meats. So wa fehlelo. You know, in the past episode, we were talking with Dr. N about unlayering. This is spiritual unlayering.
Yes.
This is unbundling you to rebundle you back.
So it says
That's what
transformative, like
Yeah.
fundamentally transformative.
Yes.
Like everything you've known, your past, your self-constructed future, everything is being unwrapped and unraveled and reconstructed as now the healer identity, would you say?
There's definitely a lot of transformation that happens because it's like you are found as an onion. I'll go with your example of unlayering. You are this onion, full onion, right? You've got the peels on, you've got your brown skin on, and then you start unlayering. So in itself, it is transformational. When you start ho fehlellwa, when you're in the middle, and when you end the process, you are three different people.
Yeah.
Completely. You are taught how to sacrifice, something that I did not know how to do. Because how do twasa, it's not like utwasa when you were born. You have come through the ranks and you have lived your life a certain way up until that point. You followed certain customs, beliefs, and even religion at times, which is the case with me. And now I need to unlearn all those things. I need now to have a conversation with people I don't see who were demonized in a former religion that I used to be part of. It's completely transformational. It can send you right to delusion.
Yeah.
Because you literally need to unbelieve. You are like rewiring yourself to say, okay, all that which I have believed might not necessarily have been it.
And what gives you that conviction that what you are now and what you chose now is better than the former? What internal, because I'm assuming you had some sort of internal conflict, as you say.
Absolutely.
That it happens at a later stage. So now, what gives you that conviction that, you know what, this was not for me. Now this is for me. This is the best thing that I could possibly have chosen now. What gives you that? Because now, I can assume you taking up being this heel identity, it can be very alienating, especially if they know you as Jalani or Mesheli or Yankreking, like she doesn't do those things, she doesn't interact in those things. So now it's like, oh, Jale, like, imagine she's engaged.
Now we do this, we burp.
Now what gives you
All
that
the time.
conviction beside all's around you? What gives you that personal conviction that this is it, this is right?
I don't think it's it's where you take a stance. It's not like I'm belong to this party, I don't belong to that party. I don't think it's that. I think it's in the becoming. So meaning, some of us, we had to go back and fix a lot of our lineages before we can even fehlelwa, before we can even toaza. It was the fact that, hey man, I'm dreaming about this. Oh no, we have twins that passed on. Like, what? Did you guys lay them to rest properly? Oh no, I'm confused. At one stage, I was confused who my mother was. I want to find that I was breastfed by my mom's sister because my mom was that ill, and my mom's sister has lost a child somewhere in between. So somehow, my father had not married my mother in full and in completeness. But I had to go back and fix that. So some of us, it's in the becoming that you understand that this makes sense in that it's ticking the boxes of where the yearning was sitting at. There was a hollow in terms of my identity. There was a hollow in terms of us as siblings coming together. There was hollowness in terms of how my mother perceives certain things. So it's in the becoming that slowly you become this. And I always say, for me, between Africanism and Christianity, it's not if and one versus the other. Before I do anything, I pray first. We deal, and I made an example of Panado. We have Pohotehla. It's a Panado of African spirituality versus Panado. We have endometriosis in African way. We have medication of the Western way. We have, after we give birth, we give you certain herbs to cleanse for the blood to come out in the African way. We have the same in English way. They put pads and that's it. They say you will be fine. When a child is born, we have a certain ways of taking out liled, that mucus, thick mucus. In African way, in a Western way, they don't. So meaning, it's not, African spirituality is not above Christianity. I don't believe that personally. We all belong to one huge God universe. In that, there's Africanism, there's Hinduism, there's Jewish, there's Christianity. We all da-da-da-da. And for me, for Jolani, in person, that there's these pillars of spirituality aspect that fit under this huge umbrella. And all of us, we have a way of communicating to the super being. Rapahla. Hindus, they go to the ocean. Muslims, they do what they do. We all, like, that's where I am. So, for me, it was in the becoming that understood this assignment, this that I am. I didn't wake up and say, I adopt a healer. Therefore, I'm fighting with the Rozo. It's in the becoming that the chips started to fall where they should be. Is that English? That people will leave you and people will come close to you and so on and so on. Like, it's in the becoming.
So for me, the sense of conviction was the inner peace that I found to be in enormous quantities. And the reason is that I had been searching. I didn't know what I was searching for, but I was always searching for something greater, for something that would give me purpose. And in the different places / churches that I would go to, there would still be a missing piece that did not quite fit. And once I would say answer the call. I suppose I answered, but I didn't even know that I had answered it, right? Because it was not like an instantaneous thing.
I choose to answer.
I'm like, no, call it it's time. There was a fair amount of negotiating that happened. Okay, let me travel the continent first and then come and do your work. So, but when I found this journey and I was at the right place at the right time, there was an enormous sense of belonging and a sense of peace. And I love what you said when you said, in becoming, there are things that you fix. It's also a corrective procedure.
Absolutely.
You are entrusted with fixing your entire bloodline. I mean, I don't know what the selection process is. I still want to know it because
Because I want to quit.
Ke bone
I don't want to
ba
apply.
kgetha mahlanya, you know, and I never see them going for the meek people wa bona the ones who have been quite upright in their living. They choose the most oddest of people, and I'm like, how does this selection process work?
I was wondering.
Negile mami nati bona groove ine tsijwa ke nna. And I'm like, so they went and they fetched me there. Go groove. Hore ke tle ke tlo etsa mosebetsi wa bona. It is something else. And also, they did something quite unpalatable to a lot of people, even to this day. Ke tsamaiswa ke ntate moholo, right? And I'm female. People were like, how? How does that work? How do you embody a spirit of an old man? You are female. It's almost like a taboo, and it's ongoing. And every time it's like, no, you can't. You can't embody a spirit of a man. But they somehow found me to be fitting to lead this expedition of fixing, because I was the one who had to go to all the wrong places first. Nearly get killed at some of the places for me to get the right one, where they actually showed me in a dream. Bamfa map, GPS. The ancestors, they know this GPS. Haitle or not. So a great sense of peace for me was the one big factor that actually put me on this path.
Contentment. I'll also sum it as that.
Yeah.
And seeing that it's an ongoing transformative journey, what does this teach women about identity, self-worth, and reclaiming their power? What has that done for you and for any woman out there who may be conflicted?
For me, is that we are a constant work in progress, right? We always breaking the barriers, like the one that I've just mentioned. There's no limitation. And I think as women, we have been boxed and compartmentalized to fit certain roles, and only those roles. And if you step out of the box, then you're a rebel. You know, society looks at you differently. But in my spiritual journey of becoming, and perhaps also unbecoming, the former, I have learned that there are no limits.
Absolutely.
There are absolutely no ceilings to this. So as a woman, you literally can achieve anything. You can do anything. And the power of healing starts with us. We are healers. They always say that a healer can heal themselves. I beg to differ. You self-heal first before you go and heal somebody else. How do you give from an empty cup? You know, it's a weird concept, but I think in spirituality, it is empowering to women. Extremely liberating, because sometimes you heal a man and you are a woman. And in normal societies, fella, when a patient who is male comes to you, you need to attend to them. A Western medicine doctor, for lack of a better term, Dr. N, please pardon me. If a male patient walks into your practice, you're going to attend to them, right? But somehow, in our spiritual journey, it's like and once you start to advance and you live now within your spiritual state. In my spiritual state, I'm an old man. When that spirit comes over me, I don't even recognize myself. And for me, that was the biggest thing, to be able to tap into your higher being, the best version of yourself, as coaching terms, you know, being your highest and your best level. That I only learned in spirituality and following this path.
On the aspect, on the aspect of identity, The one thing that we are not taught in schools and is covered somehow a little bit in therapy. In African spiritualism, identity is the core. Meaning, every day, 10 times a day, I am reminded that Jolani or Jolani, what does your name mean? Umukwena, what does it mean? You remember you meditate, Baphahla, Umukwena, Ubisa Bakwena. And in that 4 quadrants, Umukwena, you belong to your father's lineage. Then you belong to your mother's lineage. Then you belong to your father's lineage, and your father's mother's lineage, and your mother's father's lineage, your mother's mother's lineage. So you know yourself fully in those 4 dimensions, plus 5, plus 6 dimensions. So if you ask me, who are you? Ke Mokwena, ke Maqabi, ke Mofokeng, ke Van Niekerk, ke Shuping. So that's whole encompassing. And as a woman, when I got in through my worst mental and physical struggles, I've always had to go back and remind myself, "Hore ke Mokwena, I'm a crocodile. I can swim the murkiest waters. I go through it." So that I'm a rabbit. I'm wise. And so meaning the multi-dimension of my identity, that when ke ne ke fehlellwa, I had to tap in every day, many days, many months. It molded me into a deeper understanding of who I am. And hence you see now with you and your siblings, I'll always emphasize that unkosi, this is who you are, your lineage. Part of you is Mokwena. This is who Mokwenas are. So that even in the midst of you being in Amsterdam, deciding to be lost, you can go back and say, I know who I am. So that's the depth of identity, because I'm not saying that people who are abused stay in abuse voluntarily, but I'm saying sometimes that clicks to say, man, ke Mokwena. Man, I can go home. Kimpa, ke ikgopola. You can remember yourself. So Africanism, African spirituality has deeper roots in self-identity more than anything. And how we raise our boys and how we raise our girls, it's so important, especially you as a firstborn daughter. There's certain things, Maru as a son, there's certain things. That itself is not what you learn in therapy, it's not in books, it's not in gynae, it's not in pediatrician, aiko. It's in African spirituality. There's a space for that.
So it can help also mediate. It plays a mediating role when you go through difficulties or challenges, that to remember, no, as you said, ke Mokwena or whatever it is, to remember and to stay rooted in that. But I want to play devil's advocate a little bit. How does that now inform your romantic relationships?
Girl,
How does that now inform?
I need a drink.
Ascala mo, just
Career choices. I see in a previous episode you're speaking about your marriage. Let me address you as that.
Oh, yes.
And the difficulties in your marriage. And do you, to some extent, agree that your spirituality may have impacted that in ways that you may not be aware of? Or maybe now that you look in hindsight. Because obviously, as Mkhulu Shelley said, society expects you to be molded. And now this empowering effect of unbecoming and becoming, it gives you this... Yeah, yes. this bullying crowd. I don't want to say bullying, but I want to say extreme groundedness. Yeah. Let me say that. So now in situations like romantic relationships where women are kind of expected to remain almost meekish and submissive, and now you're standing and there's two of you and you both are extremely grounded, how does that play out?
I think I'll respond to it in two ways, Lisedi, before I hand it over to Give Mesheli. Spirituality. Umkhulu sizipho. Kidimpho. These are feeling abundance.
That's it.
In romantic relationships, it's, for me, had I gone through the process of Hofehlelwa and Hotwasa, I would have selected differently. I selected my partner from escapism, from the ocean is running dry, and from lack mentality, from I just want to settle down, I have to get this done, I have to be married at a certain age. I was not confident and comfortable. I did not know who Mukwena was, this Mukwena. I did not know who she was. So from that aspect, had I gone through that process earlier and kisabaliha, I would have selected and chosen differently, because the grounding, the roots would have been sitting so deep and so solid in the ground that my choices would have been different. I would have leaned into deeper Christianity, understanding the person. I would have leaned into deeper spirituality, understanding ke mang, o hlaha kae. Setso sa bona se seng. So I married someone who's shallow, and I was just as shallow. So I would have chosen differently. Now, coming back to how did my spirituality journey help me in the healing? I filed for divorce 2 days before I went Kiofehlelo. So as the turmoil was unraveling, I was in serious African meditation spirituality. And that is what had gotten me through the journey. I had to come back full circle to remember who Jolani was. And now, in my current, okay, Kajol,
Shine.
so,
Shine.
okay, I mean, I've been separated, divorced for the last 6 years. So as and when I choose to go into a relationship, the deep-rootedness matters to me. I choose to date a father. I choose to date someone who embraces their culture fully. I choose to date someone who embraces their lineage, who embraces spirituality. Because then the biggest chunk of what I must explain to them is done. As a father, you're a provider. As a spiritual guide, you lead your home. As the things are fun. Mfana must be mfana ring. So meaning that my choices now, they're deep-seated they're identified by who Jolani is, unlike before. And yes, you're absolutely right. After Ngibekutwaseni in the middle of divorce, shame, the beast woke up. The beast was unraveling, slicing. So what I came back as, after Uktazama, my ex-husband did not realize, okay, we're in the process of divorce, but he did not realize who that girl was, because that girl knew who she was. It changed me deeply. I don't want to lie. Now he was shocked, I'm sure, like all. He said.
So, for me, it's twofold, right? It is before Hulofehlelwa, how my dating life was, and post Hulofehlelwa. Before, I was that girl. Dating was not an issue. I did not have problems. There was abundance. You know what? I was okay. I was happy. I used to stay even in relationships. Then, I went Kalofehlelwa. No, it became tricky. Because you must understand, if I can try and simplify it, you must understand that you are two bodies in one, right? The one body is invisible, the spirit, and then there's you. So when you date, you don't leave them behind. You go with them. Imagine going to your boyfriend with your grandfather. Please try and fathom that. Please try and just try and think of it. How difficult that is. You know, you like
the
trying,
push and pull.
you're trying to negotiate or no, and when he says no, he says no. I'll negotiate as much as I can, but he will pull me out of that relationship himself. That is what dating life now looks like. What becomes tricky is that you do not really own your life anymore. You do not own entirely your decisions anymore. Now you've got God who says, I will direct your footsteps, right?
Yes.
And then God does not come here himself, right? He does it through angels and your ancestors. Now you've got that. I'll be going that way and then say, no, you're not seeing. They even choose for you.
Mkhulu, mara ba emetse.
Hello.
Mkhulu, hello. Hi. Ntokozo ba bitsa network underground. Re ba emetse. I want to be married again. But seriously this time. Mkhulu ne? To us,
Hey,
yes.
to us.
Let's be married
Right?
again.
So they go. Here's the advantage. A simple advantage that you have. You have got an unfair advantage of an army of people
Yes.
who you are in partnership with. Remember, it's a partnership.
Yes.
Because they come to you and they're like, they don't force you, you know. It's over the years, they're like giving you semi-options, you know, twisting you here and there, saying, if you do this for us, we'll do this for you. It's a mutually beneficial partnership. So you have got people who want to keep you happy because you are doing their work. You are correcting what they did wrong or did not do in their time when they walked the earth. So now you have got a whole army going out, searching the ends of the earth for a perfect partner. Because he's not only your partner, he's their partner too. So even though now I know who they have chosen, you know him.
Me, I know. Me, I want.
Me, I like. You refuse or you are okay with it?
I'm not refusing. We're just waiting for him
waiting.
Okay.
to also get the awakening.
Okay.
So that awakening is awakening.
Yeah, so you know we are both awakened and we can fulfill.
In the previous episode, Dr. N spoke about the brain not recognizing what is real and what is imagined. So, which brings me to the next point. And obviously, the ancestral call, for lack of a better word, manifests in different ways. Yeah. And many of these experiences can look like mental health challenges when you look at it from a Western perspective. Right. How do we understand the difference between spiritual awakening and psychological disturbances like psychosis, for example? How did you know that, no, this is a calling and this is not psychosis or schizophrenia?
Yeah.
Like, how do you then decipher? What about the next woman or young child questioning themselves? Is this depression? Is this the calling? What is it?
What a loaded question.
It doesn't come in straight line.
Yeah, it's definitely not linear. But I think there's one common thread between the Western approach and the indigenous or African approach, where both concepts are removed from what we know as reality, right? Both of them. Because, you know, in the ancestral calling, you are being called by people you don't see. Sometimes you're being called by people who you never even knew.
Yeah.
They are like 300, 400 years old. So there is no sense of reality in that. So there is certainly a common thread. I think where we differentiate is the one perhaps causes distress, and then the other one, it questions your reality or your unreality. But there is still a sense of no nyaya laphayana. There's, even though it does not make sense, it feels right. Right? Because it does sometimes manifest itself in illness. Babang, they go blind before they answer the calling. Babang, they swell up, whatever it is, just not just mental. There is also the physical aspects. But the one thing, they will make it be something that you will pay attention to. And there's also a recurrence that happens. Sometimes it's the dreams, that like you will dream of this one thing until you actually try and find help. So it is always like that alarm that they sound, that they know you're going to act on it. And somehow there will be answers everywhere. I don't know if this happens to you. There'll be answers everywhere. Everywhere. There'll be just a random person who'll just come to you and confirm something that you dreamt about 2 weeks ago or just the other day. You know, you'll see a billboard that answers what you've been questioning. The answers will be everywhere. Literally, you know, when Paulo Julio says that the universe will conspire in your favor, like the whole universe will be your answering board. And then you'll start saying, no man, there's something
There's something here.
Yeah, and then you'll just, and you'll be directed. That's the thing with the calling. You'll be directed. Sometimes because you are not conditioned to know that this is a map that happened to me, you will not be able to follow it, because I was given a map of where I needed to go, where I ended up actually being initiated. Like there were boards, N12. Niki boards were N12. And then I knew exactly which turn to take. Okni, Hoyakuma. And then they were like, yes, like how many turns? They showed me the house. They showed me the woman who's there. They showed me there's a flag, there's this. At the flag there are horns. You know? So there is direction. They don't just come to you and leave you to fend for yourself. But because I was not conditioned to be able to realize that those are the signs that I need to follow, I went to 3 different wrong places before I got the right one.
Israel. Oh, you ran away first.
Oh yeah.
You ran.
Definitely.
So you say that even if I, or as anyone, that was saying, okay, I don't know what's going on, but you still feel drawn or pulled to go ahead through it anyways. And that's interesting to hear. I think there's a lot of research about the commonalities of symptoms, the physical, the mental, but I've never heard or alluded to directed madness or directed insanity, for lack of a better word.
That is a great
directed-
oxymoron.
It's directed insanity. And also there's 2 words that Mkolo used that I identified with. There's distress. I went to a mental institution because I was distressed. Kisamaile, kalo fehlelo, because I was confused, and there was the feeling of the yearning, the hollowness. Kishota ka something. Hakahlahi no mari, there's the yearning. Honale ho home. Okay, it was manifesting into physical. I suffered from ulcers. I had 4 surgeries of the ulcer before Twasa. I can talk it ulcer and Jack afford. It's the yearning, that feeling. So I think for me, I always say to people, usually, no, wait for your dreams, pipeline, wait for your dreams, to what feeling you get.
Yes.
Do you get distressed? Go seek psychological help. There's nothing wrong with you. How to yearning, sometimes uktwasa is ukulungisa, izinto zakini. You are not going to be a healer of nobody.
Yes.
You're not going to heal no one's child. Uyalungisa nje. Mkhulu wathini, ugogo wathini, kwa moshwalana, somebody committed suicide, somebody raped someone, somebody has somebody's child with lungisa. That's it. That's your calling. Ka Sesotho ga lokisa dintho re di beya ka tsepamo. Boso o ya tlohella. Ha o fodise motho. Ho fola wena le leloko la heno. Ha ke tlo kgona ho bua ka English, mkhulu tla nthusa ka English or you lineage. So meaning is how it makes you feel. That's when you can see that I'm now going psychosis, or there's a spiritual healing aspect of it.
And how can embracing this ancestral way or spiritual way help women heal and take care of their mental, emotional, and overall well-being in today's society?
Sure. Your questions.
Your questions
I
are
can
hard,
tell
hard,
that
hard.
was like
You are not an academic.
psychology student. Or it's where, man. I think that I'm more on the holistic part. I think for me at the least, let me answer in my personal capacity. Having undergone this process, I feel like I take care of myself far better. And you are taught ways. There is a certain element, I would say, of counseling that you are taught.
Absolutely.
How fehlellwa. Because it is a holistic approach. In addition to the pizza, purging and all of that, there's also a certain element of how to connect to your higher self, to connect to God, to connect to nature, and be able to pray, to meditate. Meditation is through other religions, but meditate alone. It's just different terms, but the concept and the principle remains the same. So I think mentally, I'm far better than I was before Kitwasa, because Kitsiba, I can recognize when things are going a different direction, and it's easy for me to be able to say, okay, now let me connect, let me slow down, let me pause, and just deal with what I need to deal with. And even in my health, I'm able to get like almost self-diagnose, because ke kgona ho bona certain signs hore bona ena e se le ngata ha re fokotse ka ho etsa tjena re ke no pitse e hlatswang madi how bona discoloring of the skin here there. And I mean, obviously this is not eliminating the Western medicine, because I believe they can coexist as they are currently, but there is certainly always a place for indigenous ways, because how were we doing it before modern medicine?
Yeah.
Because there were always ways of doing things. Yes, the illnesses were not as rife as
Complex.
they are now,
Yeah.
but there are certainly always ways that we can't neglect.
I always say, Ufehlelwa haka taught me more humility. How fehlelwa, we are all equals.
Yes.
Your qualification,
Out the window.
your English, your
Nobody
what,
cares.
doesn't matter.
Nobody cares.
Listen. 2, it taught me the essence of time. I wake up in the wee hours of the morning.
Mewe.
I meditate. I pray. I stretch. I rather do that and then go back to sleep again. But consciously, what I feed my body, what I feed my mind, absolutely every day, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I must clear the brain. The brain must be purged. You also meet different people from different spheres of life. So you become kinder. Besides being an equal to your peers, you become kinder.
Definitely.
One last thing, so a kinder, you heal and infect a 3-month-old, 50-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old girl, 75-year-old woman, it's a mix. You become kinder. You learn. If you're not kind, you learn. Or if that spirit of kindness is lying dormant, then saguqa. I've learned through lefehlelo respect. Ukumhlonipha omunye umuntu noba isimo sakhe sinjani like abake mankapa mang. Hlompa motho. To respect nature, to respect mountain, to respect ocean, to respect the environment I live in. That encompassing. To respect myself. So if moto akula no ahlaza, kitlaga mobo. I respect the person, I respect the environment. If umplela ntwe esiphiru wena, I respect it. If ke tsama ka ntle ke bona pampiri ke haeka, ke iphuta ke kenya plastic. That's what the fehlelo taught me. It was not that Jolani before.
Yep.
And I think on an ending note, I want to ask, I know Nkulu Zizipo was saying, this holistic approach, and that indigenous and biomedical ways can coexist. But what do you think are the barriers to collaboration? Never mind coexisting, but what are the barriers to collaborate? Because I think, as I've heard myself, there's a lot of untapped knowledge that could be applied and implemented in Western spaces and vice versa. Because, meditation and isolation, and it's almost like while usually biomedical approaches appreciate symptom management, African spirituality appreciates letting things play out, letting a building fall all the way down to the rubble and to start building the foundation again. And so what do you think are some of those barriers that you challenge these spaces to think about, maybe?
Let me take it so that you can conclude. One,
Sure.
is fear. Fear. I'll use this specific example. We went to a mall yesterday. We're buying few things for this. Buying like condiments, few things. And then as we walked past the shop, I'm like, oh, this shop is interesting. Let me step in. I saw Moringa sign. I step in. It's a white guy. Says, no, I work with an African lady. She's from Limpopo. She's not here. This site is the African herbs that are packaged. That site is her site. African herbs that are not packaged and not processed. And she also does readings, African readings. So I was like, Auntie, I was like, no, it's here. So one, it's fear. Two, I'm a double master's. I have master's in engineering, master's in business.
Yes. A big deal.
And as after Oktasawam, I spent some time doing research on understanding African spirituality, and understood that in the apartheid days, when you are a healer in the community, the police will come and arrest you. It was forbidden. It was not spoken about, and so on and so on. So I spoke about fear. I spoke about it was banned, and then there's serious deliberate confusion. Then there's comparison. Confusion is like there are people that practice black magic using African spirituality as an umbrella. So people think when you're a healer, you're all takatari. I'm scared of you, I hate you, you are takatari. Then the last one is comparison. Christianity, Hindu, or Africanism, the one is superior than the other. And lastly, we were taught that this is better than this one. This is better than this one. So I'll make an example. If you go to a internship, you have more airtime than Ususwap. When you are born, you have more airtime than or dark. So we've been taught like that. So meaning those inherent beliefs, we live with them. And we do not allow ourselves to be open-minded, to say, what is this? Let me not fear it. Let me at least seek to understand it. If I don't like it, I stop. But let me at least seek to understand it. So meaning that people don't go that way because they don't want to understand it. They're comparing, they're confused. It was banned before, it's bad. It's and then that man, ebo go khona bomkhulu ekeligezeni man. Ikal hlapeng ayisas. Hlapa and then ukinya Tom Ford. Okay, na ke kinya ntho Louis Vuitton le Christian Dior ka pere ntho tuku. Because really go to school still hlapa, ground yourself, still pray, and then be a healer. Who said healers must be dead? And then you must went to the tekisa kontong. But you understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Geez, yeah, you certainly took some of the points that I was going to mention. But I think one of the biggest things is perception management. Right? What has gone before the healing space, and especially within the African context, is that it is still demonized, right? It is still related to darkness and evil and that which needs to be associated with the devil. I mean, you see it in a lot of depictions of Amasangoma and Dingaka. When you think of the devil, just a very simple example, you think of something ghastly red with horns, and Dingaka and ki red, ki black. So you have got this thing that is in the media, in the general space, where it's easy for us to be linked to evil because of the symbols that are used, right, to actually talk down to the healing space of Africans. And medicine to us, Kipolo, it's not seen as healing, it's seen as ngifuna le ndoda leya awungiphe something fast. And people actually don't understand that with everything, I hold this very, very highly, that with everything you do, everything, absolutely everything, it's open to good use and abuse. Right? So, ha ulingaka, it's either ngaka ya lesedi kapa ya lefifi. You choose. It's either you heal or you kill. You can't do both. Right? You absolutely cannot do both. So that perception that now puts an entire umbrella on the healing fraternity of Africans, that is the problem. And to also go back to the apartheid days and all the other days, Double Hitler and whatnot, they have always said white is right. Right? Again, I go back to symbolism because I think it's so important. We subliminally don't look at these things. White is right, right? And Dr. N, I apologize again. Modern medicine, I'll say, I don't know how to phrase them. What color coat do they wear?
White.
Okay. White is right. White is better. White is superior. Right? And then nkgono le mkhulu ha ba sebetsa ba lahlela diphika tse jwang tse kgubedu tse brown, and it's like not quite sure now. I'm not quite sure that what I'm getting is gonna be it's gonna be quality care. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be superior, and it's gonna be for my benefit. So it is the created perceptions that we don't realize in each and every day. And I agree with you how you know when I was growing up, cracked heels. So when your feet are pedicured, clean, and they're just like now they used to call me a slay queen, even Haneke Twasa. But hello, a slay queen wazini. And you don't understand that how fehlelwa, how twasa. Who twasa moya? Ising nam.
Negi fit like palama kan ka by 6x6 taba lo batla mrian. Ke pedicure.
Yes.
Yes, I dreamt about the medicine. Margaret, please.
So we can certainly coexist.
Definitely. Thank you. For this time. Everybody from Fola, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please like, comment, subscribe for more information, for openness. Be open-minded.
Absolutely.
Challenge yourself today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Lesedi. Chayana ha ke khone ngwana ka ke le ho.